Hello, guys. Welcome back. Happy Thursday. Lucky's like, start off with that story. Start off with that story. So I'm trying to get in the habit of making sure I do my stuff for the gods on their day. Usually we're pretty loose, but today's Thursday, so we're celebrating. I was working as temple. Long story short, it I will tell you the rest of what we did, but Odin does like to do inspections on these temples. At least this is my experience when I'm done. It seems to vexate the other gods, but it also seems to be his sacred duty of approving things. I mean, this isn't just Odin being Odin. This is his sacred thing to approve the offerings to the other gods. And he's looking around this place, and I was getting a sense that, when you first put stuff in, they can love it, and then a couple days go by, and a week or so goes by, and they don't like it so much anymore. And he's looking around and goes, "Get all these fucking plants out of my son's temple!" Ah! And I can feel the other gods like, "Well, it is a bit much." Freyr, it could be made out of plants. He would be happy. Thor, I think he was happy when I first put it in. And then I just was getting these mental images of, Thor, how big he is and everything. Just kind of awkwardly swatting these plants out of the way every time he tried to sit down, but being way too nice to say anything. And I didn't think of it, right? So we got rid of all the goddamn fucking plants, as I put it. He got a hydroelectric dam, which also, it runs a place. We're using our imagination here, so we only have 500 items. He got one of those. It not only runs and works because we're Imagineering here, but it also, you can swim in it, which is awesome. So, got him that. Um, took down any vestiges of, when there might have been any gods from outside the pantheon, made sure that everything was to Thor's liking and for the family. So he has an outdoor eating area. And I looked at him and I said, "Can I do something for you I've always wanted to do?" And he's like, "Yeah, what?" He has a stage where they can hold rock concerts. Because I'm like, if there be any god in the pantheon that would appreciate this, it would be Thor. Bragi is the god of music, but Loud and AC/DC and Thunderstruck, that would be right down Thor's alley. So I made sure I put the stage in for him. And we did some other stuff, and we've got some change left over, as we call the items. And I can go back in and put more stuff in. He's already got the spa in the hot tub. He's got the dam to swim in now. They've got a giant target, he's got the barn, he's got a workshop barn combo, he's got another barn with the ducky, because there's no animals left, but he got a ducky. He's happy. It's a giant ducky. And you can go in, and there's the library, because he's very intelligent, as we all know if we actually work with him, and he's got everything else going on, so it's a really nice home. And when we do this stuff in VR, I just tour it with them when we're doing an inspection, and I told you guys, I'm the glorified groundskeeper property manager. I make sure they're happy, I make sure there's nothing they want changed. I understand looking at the same goddamn fucking furniture for years has got to be wearing on them, but we're not allowed to import stuff. So if it's driving them crazy, or they don't want to look at it, or they don't want the temple, I will walk through with them a couple times and go, "Well, what is it you don't like?" And a lot of times you get back, "I don't know." It's usually something specific, but they think you did it and it meant so much to you as an offering that they don't want to give it back. I said, "Look," and I said to them all today, I said, "These temples aren't sacred, but they are. What I mean by that is they're sacred temples, they're an offering to them. But if they get sick and tired of staring at something, just let me know. I don't care how much I love them and how happy I looked when I gave it to them, or how proud I was that I figured out how to build it. It doesn't have to be there forever. If they don't like it anymore, just tell me, and I will come in and I will replace it if we have stuff." You guys know it's a catch-22. I have to play VR to get drop boxes, and having to play VR to get drop boxes is the biggest drag on playing VR ever, and you suddenly don't want to do it. And I'm spending a lot of my time in these houses, and you don't accumulate drop boxes for house time, or we would just have a constant stream of them. But we did that, and we got on YouTube, and we worked on playlists and stuff like that. And He's really happy. We're gonna make some chili later. I know he's dreaming of pizza, and his father is thinking about it. And I had told his father last night, I said, look, as I'm working more seriously with the Norse gods, I don't want to make it a constant drain on the gods. I don't want to just keep, whining for every game I see. And, pizza and everything is nice to get, but I said, I realize, I have to do my part too. And it's part of the human condition. When it's the food you have, it's like, you don't want it. But when it's outside food, it's fancy food, right? So we're working on it. Odin appreciates I'm willing to meet them halfway, but he also doesn't want me to go around sackcloth and ashes either. So we're negotiating. And they're pretty happy. And getting back to Thor himself, he's really laid back teddy bear. He wasn't even gonna tell me the plans for bothering him. That's kind of why Odin's so blunt forward, because the other gods usually care and they don't want to hurt your feelings. And Odin will just come in and lambaste you with stuff, and he always wants your very best. That's why a lot of people won't work with him. The real reason he didn't like the Freya and Freya temple was it wasn't my very best. He said, you went for the most basic thing. Think of what else they do. Think of her being a mistress of magic and everything else. And he said, think of how talented and bright and intelligent she is. And and he really gave it to me, and frankly, I deserved it. They only can have a temple apiece, but, well, some of them get two because they're special. I got, yeah, back here. But, he wanted to bring up the very best. He said, I don't care that they wanted a temple like this. You can do better. And, sometimes that's Odin countermanding what a god wants, but he always wants the best and highest offerings for the gods. So, sometimes it can be a bit frustrating, and the other gods understand that. And he's kind of the force that pushes the whole family along to do better. If you don't move fast enough, Gungnir may be involved. But it's his essential holy function in the family, because if you've worked with the rest of the gods, they're not undisciplined by any means, but they will tend to go have fun and play, and Odin gets used to being the one that has to walk around picking up all the children's toys, grumbling at them and telling them to do something. And he definitely wanted something more useful for Freyr. We were all having fun with it, but he's like, no, you built something infinitely, not intimately, infinitely more useful. So he made sure that I did my very best work. But Thor is a real sweetheart. He's a real teddy bear. Somebody had been, concerned about working with him. He's not scary. He's not dumb at all. I actually see him as a father of technology. He's definitely the one that will get in there. There are stories written by heathens and, inspired by Thor and that about, him working on engines and stuff like that. That would be right up Thor's alley. He's the god of the people. He's the god of the farmers. He's the god of people that work with their hands. So he would be in there with technology. And he's called Deep Thinker, so he's not stupid. He once tricked, and I've heard different things assigned to this story. In one story, it's a troll. In one story, it's a dwarf. But either way, he tricks them into talking all night long into solving riddles until the sun comes up and they turn to stone. Because the other gods had conveniently promised his daughter to this entity while Thor was away, and Thor wasn't too happy about it. So he's very protective of the family. He certainly can outwit people. Some people look at the story of them going to see Utgard Loki, and they say, well, that proves he's dumb. Yeah, who else was there? Who else was there? Raise your hands if you were there. I get They all fell for it because it was magic. It's just more of a story of a god with all the intelligence and bravery and brain and wit that Thor has isn't going to be able to fight against that much magic. Actually, if you look at all the heroic things he did, he terrified the gods, and that's why they'll never find them again, because they're not really Jotnar are not really giants. They're another race or family of gods. And they were actually terrified that even though they were giving him these impossible tasks, he was still doing them because he's the son of the earth and the All-Father. So of course he's strong. So, even though he didn't see through the magic, Neither did Loki. So Loki's like, I don't know. So, he had one of the sharpest gods with him that should have definitely, since magic is right up Loki's alley, seen through it. It's just Thor's powers are different. He can, let me put it this way, there is a sense of he has his own magic, but it's kind of ineffable magic that only Thor understands, and it's just more like a magic with machines. There you go. That's what his magic is. His magic's more technology related. People that can just fix anything? Thor's people. So, and of course there's probably some Thorsmen out there like, I can't fix anything. Well, there are people that definitely must have felt his touch, and unfortunately I'm not one of them, but they're just really good with machines. They're really good with technology. They can fix anything. That's one of his blessings for people. People who can grow crops and grow food, people who cook really well, because you've got to be able to fix what you cooked. And definitely Thor is, it's not a huge part of his lore, but he definitely loves to eat and definitely will cook. So it's been really good. We've been renewing our friendship, and I've been reading some of the stories written by heathens, like kind of retelling of the stories. And he's not dumb. He's not dumb. I want to hurt people when they say he's dumb. He's not dumb. He's going to think about things, and he's not going to respond right away. His father has to show you how smart he is. I love and respect the Allfather, I really do. But Odin can't stand the thought of you not knowing how brilliant he is, where Thor really doesn't give two shits if you think he's dumb. In fact, if you think he's dumb, he will use that to his advantage, because I can't stress this enough, son of the Allfather. There are some of the old man's traits in him. He can be sneaky, he can be crafty, he can do, whatever he has to do. So, he's a really good god to work with. He's definitely a god of hallowing things, the Thor's hammer. He's definitely a god that has power over life and death. Look at the hammer with the goats. God of abundance. Look at the goats, and you can eat them all the time. Poor goats. They don't mind. He's definitely a good god to work with, and he's an honorable god, and he's a god that, if you would compare stories to gods of other pantheons, not to speak ill of other gods, he's definitely more merciful towards humans than other deities are. And even when he loses his temper in the stories and he's raging, he would still rather take humans on as servants than kill them. There's a debate over whether or not he had seen human sacrifice. Most people say no, and then somebody will find something somewhere and go yes, but as far as we know, he did not take human sacrifice. If he did, it had to be on a very rare occasion. The old man is the one that likes human sacrifice. He likes humans a lot. Yeah, back here. And so, he's a really good god to work with. He's gentle, he's kind, he's real tender. Imagine this big giant of a god playing with like a tender, tiny little kitten and a newborn. Loves farms, would be happy as anything, as all get out if you take him onto a farm. Fertility. God of hammers back here. Shut up, Loki. It's a running joke. I had nothing else to offer Thor, so he has a big ass sledgehammer here that I can also use for house defense. It's right by the front door, so if anybody would try anything or zombie apocalypse comes, it's like a 10-pound sledgehammer. I'm ready. he's, he's happy. It's that, and then I have a heart hanging on it, and I used to have a Thor's hammer. We got rid of it, but it was Odin indicated that was part of the sacrifice to get rid of all the stuff, because as far as Odin was concerned, stuff, books, statues, jewelry can become props for us. We can sometimes, not always, but sometimes start to use them as a prop and a substitute for having for a good relationship with the gods. So if Odin says it's going, it's going. You don't tell the old man no. You can try, but you don't tell him no. But yeah, Thor's a really good god to work with. He's honorable, and for people that are gonna ask, he doesn't seem to have trouble with any of the Jotun. He certainly doesn't seem to have problems in my experience with Jormungandr or anyone else. It's just a thing of Thor is more towards the law, order, balance side, where people saw the Jotun as this group of gods that was maybe, a little more chaotic. So when they get out of control and they're having too much fun and they're destroying too much shit, then they send Thor in, and Thor bashes a few heads in, but just enough to keep the peace. It's nothing people that work with Jotnar want to hear, but it's well known that sometimes gods aren't human friendly. Some groups are more human friendly, some aren't. Most Jotnar I've met have been human friendly, but there is this kind of acknowledgement in the Nordic pantheon, in my experience, that just don't go anywhere you like, and just don't talk to any god, because not all gods like humans. There are the gods that interact with us that we know, and there are the gods we won't want to meet in a dark alley. We're lucky we have the ones we know that love us, and they kind of keep us away from the other gods. Don't go play with that one. They don't like humans. So, it's a good thing to have Thor at your side, and he's honorable. I can't stand to see people call him stupid. And if you're gonna work with him and you also work with Jotnar or you work with Loki or whatever, just make your peace with any of the stories. Remember, the stories are that stories. You don't have to take them as sacred. You don't have to, see Thor as exactly as he is in the stories. He will appear however he thinks is best going to suit you and best make you happy. Um, and that's about it. I wanted to make him a video today. It's almost like somebody snapped their fingers behind me. It's weird. But I just wanted to make him a video today, and I am starving. Actually, I haven't eaten today, or I kind of did before. I don't know. I will see you guys later. Bye bye.